welcome to Startup Out of the Box, a regular podcast about startups with Marco Silva and Vitor Domingos. Yes, it's over there. Yes.
No, you need to say the episode number.
21. There we go. We are back.
Welcome back to episode 21 of Startup Out of the Box.
Yep.
On today's episode, we're going to discuss three main topics, if I remember correctly, on my notes. The first one is how to set up goals.
Yeah, we kind of need that to set up all of this.
Yes, we did. We need to explain why we're here, and because we have a new set. The second topic will be what CEOs should support in a startup, right?
And the support tickets.
Exactly. If there's no ticket, there's no work.
Exactly.
And then the third topic, which is about
startup events.
Yeah, exactly.
You should press refresh.
So it's a new thing. I'm just getting used to OneNote and stuff like that. But no, so it's about button. So if big startup events are still worth it to go to and
stuff like Web Summit.
Exactly, to take some advantage of it. So
let's start where we are.
Where we are. First of all, we are on a new set. So as you can see, we're doing new stuff with the old equipment. And the most amazing thing for you guys over there is these microphones is pretty much as a prop because they don't work. We tried for the last 40 minutes to make them work, and actually we couldn't because there's a lot of echo, not in the room but also in the microphone. So we are using these lavalier mics, which I think is going to be enough for this kind of new one. Going to have a new stuff that will come along.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. And right now at almost 9 p.m. there's a lot of people that start to do some noise outside here, which is always good. So
first topic.
New setup, new environment here, new scene for us to do. Also, we're recording this in central London, which means that we're going to have this beautiful scenario and setup to also do interviews and do more stuff for our startup out of the box.
You already have some people interested.
Yes, we do. In September. I think the first one is going to be Nuno Job from YLD.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah,
he's been
finally.
He's been on I wanted him to be on this show for so long now. So, topic number one, how to set goals.
Goals.
Yeah.
So
what do you want to discuss about this then?
So the first thing is it's important to have goals in your company, even for yourself. And the most important thing is they should be measurable. It should be something that you know that you're achieving.
Yeah.
How far away are you from it that you can measure? It can't be something hypothetical like, be happier. What do you mean be happier? How do you measure that in a company? How do you measure that so it should be something and that's a big mistake a lot of companies do. So that should be recommendation number one.
So goals or mottos?
Goals.
Okay.
We're talking about goals, yeah. So the be happier is just an example of it's something that you can't measure be happier.
Yeah.
But it's something like increase revenue by 25%.
Okay, cool.
So that's something that you can measure. Okay, how much did we increase it? How far are we from the target? It shouldn't be stuff that you can't measure. Because if you can't measure it, then you don't know where you are. So you don't know if you're going to accomplish your goal, you're not going to accomplish your goal, and if you can't measure it, you just don't care about it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So that's recommendation number one. Then the other recommendation is don't confuse the goal with the result. Because the goal is usually how you get to the result that you want to achieve. So don't mix both of them. Because usually if you want to achieve something, there's a process, and usually that goal is explaining about that process, how to get there.
Yeah.
So if the goal that you want to achieve and for your team you want to achieve is clearly defined, then you should already see some steps.
Sure.
The goal should already explain. You should need to take this step A, B, and C to achieve this goal.
Okay.
So it's kind of like those three topics when you set up your goals for your team and for yourself. Kind of follow those three rules.
Okay. And probably the fourth one is don't set up too many goals. Just set up a few goals that you actually can achieve, either for that quarter or for that year or for that specific stuff that you want to achieve, either growth or on the technical side. But set those goals clearly, explain that to everyone, and make them measurable. as you said, but just set a few of them. Don't put, well, we need to achieve all those
Because then what happens is
kind
going
of
to be
12
like,
goals or 20 goals or something like that.
because then what will happen if, like, it's kind of like alerting. If you just receive 1 or 2 alerts,
Yeah.
you're going to care about them. But if you're continuously receiving like 50 alerts, you're just
just
going
ignore.
to ignore notifications and
Kind of like Slack. Have
Exactly.
a bunch of messages
Just
to read.
disable notifications.
Exactly.
Yes. That's the best recommendation we can give anyone who's using Slack. Just disable notifications.
Yeah. So that was how to set up goals. The second topic is
CEOs should do support tickets or not. Like
Right.
support to customers, should do customer support. So
well, maybe yes. So I would think that they need to understand how the company operates at several levels. So sometimes where you doing the first kind of early days of the startup, you know your clients, you know how to reach out to them, you know how to talk to them. But but then the company starts to grow, and actually you do more business stuff rather than support, and you get kind of disconnected from the reality, right?
Yeah.
The real feedback from the customers or the clients that you have, and actually you need to understand the pains, the issues that they're facing, and maybe sometimes going to the phone, picking up some calls or answering some emails or some tickets could be useful for them, for a CEO to understand and kind of feel the pulse of the company when it comes to customer relationship. Do they need to do this all the time? I don't think so, but sometimes they need to refresh themselves to do this and reach out to clients and understand their pains and their issues.
yeah,
What do you
because
think?
I think yes, everyone in the company should do support, client support. It brings everyone together back to the client, because the client is the most important thing. And if everyone understands what the client needs or what the client is complaining about or what the client is giving feedback of, it's important for everyone in the company. A good example for that is, for example, Cloudflare.
Yeah.
The support team in Cloudflare is one of the most important teams in the company. Everyone in the company has to go through the support team. I'll be like shadow someone that's giving support. The support team, usually everyone in the quite technical, and they know the company from top to bottom, every possible system. So it's not engineering when people have questions about a specific part of the company.
Yeah.
Usually it's a support team that does that. This is a support team that's giving feedback on new features, new products. So it's quite interesting. Like you can see most companies support team, they are considered like second class citizens, while in Cloudflare they're considered like the first class citizens. They're the entry to the company, they're the entry for engineering. So, and that's a good example, because they're continuously talking to the clients. New features come from the clients. Changes, like did this change was it well received by our clients or not? It's important to have the conversation, and usually it comes from the support team, the support tickets. So these, and you said like it's important for the CEO to have a
pulse.
a pulse and a like what's the reality in my company.
Yeah, makes sense. I wouldn't say do this all the time, but just sometimes go. But you know, it's not just only support, but actually understand every single function of the company.
Yeah.
So if you are in a startup and you don't know how to do invoicing, maybe you should spend some time there, because sometimes when you get to do either support or invoicing or talking to clients, you learn, right? And then after that, you can actually either improve or just say, well, listen, this is not working, we need to do something else.
And you understand if you need to hire someone for that role, you
Exactly.
understand a bit better what the skills will be needed for that role.
Exactly. And the problems, you understand the difficulties that the people deal every single day when they're doing either support or invoicing or technology-wise, right? So they need to be embedded in these kind of teams to understand their pain and their issues. But support is really important because they reach out to clients. They are the first line to reach out to clients. Good call. Third topic is if big startup events are still worth it. My answer is going to be no.
Yeah, no.
So I think that they are too big for startups to go.
Yeah.
Probably the more niche ones, like kind of meetups, could be more interesting if you're hiring and stuff like that. If you're betting your money on a ticket to Web Summit in Lisbon or to the Next Web, and you think you're going to do a lot of business there, I don't think that's going to happen.
That's too much noise.
Yeah.
Usually, for example, my recommendation for Web Summit, when I hear people that are planning to go to Web Summit, is go to Lisbon, don't buy the ticket for Web Summit. Just take advantage of all the noise that's going around Web Summit, all the events and meetups and dinners and lunches around Web Summit. do that. The Web Summit per se, like going to the event, it's too much noise.
Well, if you look at even our what we've been doing here since we got since we arrived here in London, moved to London actually, and then we started doing some kind of events, right? We went to Amazon, we went to Azure, we went to Google, we went to
Tech Days,
meetups, Tech Days, whatever, you name it. What have we learned from those events rather than just having the network? I think that if you go to an event to learn something, it's going to be really a hard one, because if you are up to date with the news and up to date with technology, you're not going to learn a lot of different stuff and interesting stuff there. If you're going to go there to network, the bigger the event, the less the network that you can get could be useful for you. Because you think, well, I'm going to go to Web Summit, I'm going to have, I don't know, how many participants there, how many VCs there. It's going to be really tough one to get at least 5 minutes, which
usually everyone already has everything scheduled. So.
Exactly. So it's going to be impossible for that. If you aim for small events, maybe the chances are better that you can actually talk to someone, that you can pitch your idea. I remember one event. I think it was 4 years ago, a French event here in St. Paul's. We went there for a bunch of French startups that they were presenting their products.
So, yeah.
And that was really small one, and everyone could talk to each other.
Yeah.
That was some interesting one. I'm not sure how the startup scene is right now in Portugal. I heard they're the best that you can have right now, but
well, it's better than what it was a couple of years ago when we left. Yeah.
But big events, I don't think that's going to be a good option. If you are a startup and you want to pitch your idea, go to the small ones. I still have my doubts when it comes to accelerator programs, kind of the Y Combinator, stuff like that, because they have the same dimension as a big event at this moment, right?
I would say accelerators depends on accelerator. You need to be very careful about the accelerator, like we mentioned a few episodes ago. Some of them will be worth it and help you, but you need to be really careful about them.
You do.
Yeah.
So, well, that's pretty much it for this episode.
We're still getting started, so this is a small one, fast one.
It is, and hopefully the next time we can have the proper audio. So every time we change scenery and location, something wrong happens. Now it was the microphones, but apparently we have a good lighting. We had support from someone to help us with the lighting.
We're shiny.
We're shiny, and we have backlights and stuff like that. Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
So see you next week for another episode of Startup Out of the Box. Cheers.
Cheers.